Hello everyone, last time I read the page 18, so let's continue. The little house was fairly bursting with good food stored away for the long winter, for the pantry and the shed and the cellar were full, and so was the attic. Laura and Mary must play in the house now, for it was cold outdoors, and the brown leaves were falling from the trees. The fires in the cooking stove never went out. At night, Pa banged it with ashes to keep the coals alive till morning. The attic was a lovely place to play. The large, round, colorful pumpkins made beautiful chairs and tables. The red peppers and the onions dangled overhead. The hams and the venison hung in their paper wrappings, and all the bunches of dried herbs and the spiky herbs for cooking and the bitter herbs for medicine gave the place a dusty, spiky smell. Often the wind howled outside with a cold and lonesome sound, but in the attic Laura and Mary played house with squash and the pumpkins, and everything was snuggled and cozy. Mary was bigger than Laura, and she had a rag doll named Nettie. Laura had only a corn cob wrapped with a handkerchief, but it was a good doll. Its name was Susan. It wasn't Susan's fault that she was only a corn cob. Sometimes Mary let Laura hold Nettie, but she did it only when Susan couldn't see. The best times of all were at night. After supper, Pa brought his traps in from the shed to grease them by the fire. He rubbed them bright and greased them with hangings of the jaws and the springs of the pins with feather dipping in his bear's grease. There were small traps and middle-sized traps and great bear traps with teeth in their jaws that passed would break a man's leg if they shot into it. While he greased the traps, Pa told Laura and Mary little jokes and stories. Afterward, he would play his fiddles. The doors and the window were tightly shut, and the crack of the little window frames stuffed with cloth to keep the cold out. But Black Susan the cat came and went as she pleased, day and night, through the swinging door of the cat hole in the bottom of the front door. She always went very quickly, so the door would not shut her tail when it fell shut behind her. One night when Pa was greasing the traps, he watched Black Susan come in, and he said, "There was once a man who had two cats, a big cat and a small cat." Laura and Mary ran to lean on his knees and heard the rest. "He had two cats," Pa repeated, "a big cat and a small cat. So he made a big cat hole in his door for the big cat, and then he made a little cat hole for the little cat." There Pa stopped. "But why couldn't the little cat?" Mary began. "Because The big cat wouldn't let it in, interrupted Laura. Laura, that is very rude. You must never interrupt, said Pa. But I see, he said, that neither one of you has more sense than the man who cut the two ketholes in his door. Then he laid away the traps, and he took his fiddle out of its box and began to play. That was the best time of all. Bye. Till next time.